So you have an upcoming job interview, and of the things you're worried about, salary offer and how to negotiate it is on that list. People tend to get so adversarial about this. In fact, for most people, whenever we're talking about salary negotiation, their mind straight up goes to compensation and benefits. Truth is, money is just one aspect of the big picture in your employment life. You should know that negotiating financial terms is good, but you must learn to negotiate for tools and environment you need to become a fulfilled and well-compensated person over time. So we're talking about things like your happiness, professional development, your health. The truth is, while finances, those are good things. But the problem is that at some point you're going to realize that everything else about that job is a nightmare. And so the money won't even be motivating. And if you're thinking, you're only saying that because, no, the truth is, it depends. I mean, if you're at that stage in life where you are struggling with, the basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, right? Then you are driven with finances, right? But then the first paycheck, if it is a decent enough, paycheck, will probably take care of that. And then now what? Okay? You need to think about the bigger picture. So in this video, we're going to go over some of the things that you need to factor in when you're negotiating for a job salary. Number one, negotiate for job satisfaction. You need to start by understanding your responsibilities. I mean, yes, you got a position, or rather you get a chance to be with the panel, right? But what exactly are your job responsibilities? You need to know that. How would you be spending your day? How many people would be working for you? Who would be your superiors? Think of it this way. Interviews are not supposed to be unilateral, okay? That's why it's called interview, the view between, two persons, okay? So just because they're asking you questions doesn't mean that you can't ask questions in return. You're not just going to be there and your job is to sit there, and just say yes and this. That's pretty much not how it goes. If you do that, then the problem is that you may end up getting the job and then realize that you don't like it because you didn't ask the right question when you're given the chance to ask a question. Remember, if you cannot say no, then you cannot benefit from a negotiation process. So, is the job fit for you? This is the question that you need to be trying to find the answer to. You may want to know if you can delegate some task to an assistant if your position comes with an assistant, so as to free yourself up to take more interactive works. Besides, if they're not going to let you delegate some of the jobs so that you can do some of the other things that you're good at, then that just tells you that is not the kind of job you want to take anyway. Find out about the organization's political environment. The point here is that you need to find out things like what happened to your predecessor, were they let go, and if so, why? If they quit, why did they quit? So remember, there are stages to negotiation, okay? So it's not like if you're just going to be like, hi, my name is so what happened to the person who was previously doing this job? No, there are stages to negotiation. So these questions will depend on which stage you are in. The point is, if you realize that you're taking up a position, and in that position it will be like walking around eggshells, so you'll be navigating political minefields in that job, then you are better off not taking up that job in the first place. So that is the reason why the negotiation thing is going to be important, okay? At this point, let me just quickly point out that if you're interested in learning about employability skills, okay? Basically, things to do with job interviews, CVs, basically all the things that you need to become employable. There's a series of videos I did. The link is in the video description, okay? Check it out. Go there, check out the lessons, get the PDFs, practice exercise, all that stuff that is supposed to guide you to become more employable. Link available in the video description. Now let's move on to number 2. Negotiate for your long-term success. So before you start throwing numbers in the negotiation, okay, before you start saying this is how much you want, blah, 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 before you start throwing numbers, you need to ask yourself, what are the tools that I need to be a success in 3 years from now? Remember, negotiation is about leverage, and you're going to gain leverage if you know how to increase your bargaining power. So you always want to think of that particular job as a stepping stone to a better job. If, it depends on which area you are as far as the corporate ladder or as far as your career is concerned. So the job you're taking, will it help you to get to a better job in future? So what do you need from this job to make the next one better. So for example, let's say you are negotiating for an accounting position. To ensure that you remain up to date on changes in accounting rules, policies, and procedures, you could have this as your negotiating item. Basically, the point is, if they're going to pay you a certain amount of money, before you even talk about money, you may want to know if they are willing to pay for some of your accounting, training conferences, because I'm sure that there are those conferences and workshops. Is the job willing to sponsor you to attend those things? Because if they really want you to be good at your job and they're not willing to sponsor, your training so that you become good at that job, then that sort of just tells you about the people you're working with, okay? And it depends. If you're applying for a job to be a cashier in a supermarket, then you're not going to use that as a negotiation tactic. You're not going to tell the person that in exchange for how much are you guys going to? It doesn't work that way. It depends on which organization and the type of job or the position that you're actually applying for or you're negotiating for. Number 3, consider the organization when negotiating the numbers. So that is important. You need to know what type of organization is it, what are their financial position. Those things are important. Again, as I said in the last point, you are not going to expect them to sponsor your training if they're just a startup that is barely making it, okay? So you need to know, what exactly do you know about this organization, okay? Which position are they in the market? How big are they? How small are they? Can they even afford to meet my demands? If you've done your research and figured out that the organization is actually capable of paying the amount of money that you want, then the next move is for you to start by figuring out what pay category someone with the educational background and expertise would receive. Then build a case for a salary at the high end of that range. But if an interviewer asks you to name your price, okay, to name how much you think you're going to be paid, how do you respond? How will you respond? That is why doing a research is important, because you want to give a non-offer offer. What is a non-offer offer? Okay, here's an example. Suppose your research suggests that you would most likely fall into the $70,000 to $80,000 pay range, but the next highest category seems within the reach of that organization. Since you've done your research, then you're going to frame that answer this way. Rather than saying, I think I deserve 80,000, then you might want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that people like me typically earn 80,000 to 90,000. Now notice, 70 to 80, but you're saying 80 to 90. So in this case, you're not really making an offer. It's like requesting for information. And then you see how they respond. And then that gives you an area in which you can start, throwing numbers. So the point is, it's not just about the number. There is the job satisfaction. There is your career trajectory. All those are things that you have to factor in when you're negotiating. If there is any question, okay, as always, do let me know. Make sure you, leave it in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. All right. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. I'll see you in the next lesson.